So, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. It's 2015. We made it to 2015. This is a good time where every year we're kind of thinking about all the stuff that's been going on, and also the last year, all the things that we accomplished in the year. So what I want to do is we're going to do a little sharing. But I'm not going to do it right now. I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about it. But at some point, I'm going to ask you to turn to your neighbor and share, what do you consider your top accomplishment in the last year of 2014? When you think about all the things that you did in the last year, what was the most significant for you, valuable for you? Just something that meant something to you. So in setting the mood, what I want to do is show a little video of some of the things that we did. So lots of activities there. I'll post the 16-minute version. There's a lot of really fun video that I chopped out to make this it fit into 6 minutes. But some fun watching the sumo wrestlers and some of the activities. But let's give it up. Actually, a lot of that activity was basically because of Peter and Mifa's organizing activities and efforts. So here's a quick list from Sacramento. Our regular programs. Last year we had Sunday service pretty much without fail every Sunday. On Wednesdays we had Rev Thompson come. And I encourage you, if you ever have time and opportunity, 7 o'clock on Wednesday evenings, it's really a good opportunity to get more insight into what's happening providentially. Reverend Thompson has the time and spends a lot of energy studying and researching so he can bring useful and valuable topics to us to share. And so I encourage you, usually 7 o'clock on Wednesday nights, and most Wednesdays he's able to come. Depending on his schedule. Then Thursdays, Tomoko Thick and Eleanor and Ms. Takagi and others have faithfully gone to the campus and done their outreach. And then Saturday we have our Divine Principle Breakfast. So I encourage you to come and join us. The more people, the more fun, the more interesting the conversations are. We've basically turned it into, it's largely fellowship. The first hour is breakfast, sharing what's going on and how God's working in our lives. And then we'll share some divine principle points and then spend most of the time discussing them, exploring an understanding of these points of the divine principle. And the topic always varies depending on who's there. Well, if we think about all the special activities we did, and this is a lot of the stuff that Peter and Mifa are responsible for organizing. Of course, last year we had the barbecue, right? So, and just a few days ago we had the party here, right? So, keeping a good tradition. Then in the beginning of February was Heavenly Parents' Day, True God's Day. And actually there weren't any pictures from that, but we had amazing entertainment on Heavenly Parents' Day last year. And then in March there was this plug-in program that Peter Mifa organized with the high schoolers to do volunteer work that then they could get credit also for school. So during March they did February and March, they did different service projects, and they went out, did feeding the homeless and things like that, activities. You saw some of those pictures too. We had the graduation. In April, a fun high school workshop. You saw some of the clips from there. In June, of course, we had the National Holy Ground Pilgrimage, and 12 people came from Sacramento and participated. And also, a lot of you donated money so that actually we could provide scholarships, especially for the young people. So of those 12, half of those were under 18. We had half of our crew was young people, and we went from San Francisco down to Los Angeles, over to Mount Whitney and Death Valley, and then to Las Vegas. So and you saw some clips from that. And of course in July the Yonatani family moved off to Boston, so we definitely wish them well. Had our barbecue out in the park. And also during that month there was that the middle school and high school sleepovers. One for the guys, one for the gals, right? Looks like they had a lot of fun. Then the young adults, the college age students, had that camp out. Saw some of the pictures from the camping trip. Also in August was the anniversary of Father Moon's Seonghwa, or Seonghwa ceremony. So we had lots of different activities. We got together one night and just had families meeting and sharing about their experience with Father Moon. In September, Judy Heary began a series that actually went from September all the way through to November on career development, helping us, especially targeted at the high school age, but focusing on how do you make a plan for your future. Actually, for some of us, it's good for us to look at some of those things, of goal setting and ideas. Actually, September was a very busy month. We did a lot of things. At the beginning of the month, of course, Ron Pine's friend Iman Kazmi came and spoke, and we had the event here, particularly dealing with Islam and the challenge that ISIS presents. And we had a good interfaith turnout for that. Also, we had our first, hopefully, annual Sacramento Valley Family Church camping trip, family outing, and that the Schusters organized up in Lake Oroville. That was quite a lot of fun. You saw some clips from there. Looked like the middle and high school had a great time with the sumo wrestling event. Looked like a lot of fun. The young adults had a get-together. The young adults, we really want to encourage and make that strong unity among our future leaders, right? The young people who are going to be taking the lead for the world in the future. Then the open mic night was a lot of fun. A lot of great talent. We had poetry, and we had dance, and we had songs, and it was just great. And I'm looking forward to this tradition of open mic nights expanding, because we got lots of talent out here. And even those of us, when I was preparing, I was thinking, well, should I do a song or should I do a comedy routine? And I could just see Renata and Eleanor looking at me and saying, what's the difference? Anyway, in October, the Schusters, maybe inspired by that fun camping trip, said, well, let's do a monthly family nature outing and get out in nature. And you saw some of the shots. We went out to Stinson Beach, to FEU Nature Center here in Sacramento, Apple Hill, and actually just yesterday they were up in the snow park, up in the snow. So I'm happy about that tradition, and I hope we can keep that going. And it's a great thing to invite friends and come to. And of course, then in November we had Thanksgiving and also another party with the middle and high schoolers. See, they seem like they're having a lot of fun. And then in December, the Christmas party and our Christmas Eve event, and finally our New Year's Day party. So it was quite a full year, right? Lots of activity. Again, most of this that you see here was organized by Peter and Mifa, but also we have the activities that the Schusters and also the Hearys. Really grateful for all the participation and the development of activities. So let's give those everyone a hand. Everyone a hand. Participation making it a great year. So in terms of just a quick report about our church, this is what our finances look like. Last year our average attendance at Sunday service was about 53 people, and half of that was adults and half of that was young people under 18. So that's kind of our mix. And you can see here the breakdown of our finances. On average, we spend a little over $4,000 a month. $4,300 is our average expenditure. Most of that goes towards rent. The average last year was $1,600. Our rent now has gone up to $1,850. So that's how much we're paying in rent each month. Our payroll for Peter Mifa and also Kazuka Brown averages $940 a month. For programs, which includes all those fun activities that you saw, the outings and and plus the paper supplies and when we make photocopies, all those kinds of expenses. That's the third highest expense. And then that makes up, those three things make up more than 3/4, about 85% of all of our expenses. And then the other is our community tithes to the national. So we make a national tithe. Also our utilities and internet and also just basic maintenance. So that's what we look like. Financially, we're doing okay. We're close to breaking even. honestly speaking, we actually averaged bringing in $4,100 a month, and we spent $4,300. So we have like a $200 shortfall. But fortunately, we have a big nest egg. Over the years, we've saved a lot of money. So, in the year, we've spent maybe about $2,000 from our savings to do all the activities. And there's a long list of activities that we've done this year. So that's a quick report on what our situation looks like for 2014 for Sacramento Valley Family Church. So now it's time for you to turn to your neighbor and share something. Choose one thing that you want to share as an accomplishment. Okay, so please turn to your neighbor and share what for you is a good accomplishment. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Once you get started talking, isn't it nice to think about what you accomplished last year? It puts a positive spin on life. Easy to think about, these goals that I didn't make. But let's think about the things that we did accomplish, and that's what we want to build on. So I passed out to everyone a little list. So if you take a look at this, what I want you to do is please fill this out and hand it in to me. Put your name on it, write it, sign it in blood, and then I will be checking you throughout the year. No, just a joke. Just a joke. Just a joke. So, so I know it's fun to talk about goals, but if I can get your attention again, boy, I let you guys loose, and what's happened? So, this is a checklist. What we're going to do is go through and just look. This is kind of like our annual tradition. If you could be quiet, please. I can't keep up with you. You're louder than me. Maybe more interesting than me, but anyway. This is, every year, I think I pass out something like this. It's a little checklist that we can use to explore our goals and our activities and what we're doing with our lives. So, if you think back to the basics of a divine principle and a unificationist lifestyle, there's the three great purposes in our lives, right? We take it from the Genesis 1. And God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." From Genesis 1:28. Well, from the divine principle, we interpret that and use that to clarify the three great purposes that we have in our life: to be fruitful, to multiply, and have dominion over all things in creation. Of course, you're familiar with this diagram, the four-position foundation, the diagram that is in a way a tool that we can use to look at every aspect of our life. We can evaluate our lives. So what I want to encourage, just especially at the beginning of the new year, good time for goal setting and making a new start, is to take this chance to reflect on these three great purposes. Every aspect of our life falls into one of these areas. Being fruitful, multiplying, and having dominion. Being fruitful, of course, means becoming a person of true love. Maturing ourselves in our relationship with God. Multiply has to do with our relationship with the people and the world around us. And dominion has to do with our relationship with the things in creation, the world around us. So, let's briefly just look at them. And I encourage you to reflect on each of these topics, especially when you're looking at goals and activities for this coming year. So first and foremost, in my own personal life, how's my connection with God? Double checking. Am I involving God in every aspect of my life? Am I involving God in my school, in my relationship with my friends, with my entertainment, when I go to the movies, when I listen to music? Am I inviting and bringing God into every aspect of my life? This is where we're going to find the greatest fulfillment. And for each one of us, it's unique. How we find God and experience God is unique, and it's something that we have to invest in. So check, how is my connection with God, our Heavenly Parent, these days? And then developing that spiritual discipline and health so that we can be growing spiritually. Have we developed a daily routine, something that we do every day that helps us grow spiritually, that nourishes us, that gives us food? Most days I don't think we have any problem remembering to eat. right? Well, I don't anyway. You get up and going your day, and at some point you go, I'm hungry. Well, same thing. As we get going in our day, we should start feeling, I'm hungry for some interaction, some conversation with God, my Heavenly Parent. So, daily spiritual practices help us stay healthy. We have lots of practice. Brushing your teeth, and, eating your food, and preparing for work, and all these daily routines. Well, let's include spiritual practices as part of those routines. And then also, how are we doing in developing self-discipline and self-control? Now, especially you young people, you can look at us adults and see amazing examples of perfect self-discipline. Oops, how come everybody's laughing? Oh, my daughter's really laughing. Oh. Okay, so maybe we aren't perfect examples of that, right? But this is what we're all striving for. This is the challenge that we have in life is how do we develop more self-discipline and self-control? And especially, at a young age, we're challenging with, I hope no one is at this point dealing too much with potty training. We all know how to use the bathroom, right? Well, you didn't know before, and we developed the skill of I have to go to the bathroom, but I can't leave right now, right? Ooh, self-discipline, self-control. So that process doesn't ever stop. We keep growing in our ability to have mastery over ourselves, well, including developing any kind of skill, like the musicians here, they had to practice to develop those skills, to practice and developing self-discipline and self-control. So in our life, we're always looking at how can I control myself. Sometimes it means can I especially delay gratification. Delay, I really want that. Can I wait? Can I put it off a little bit till I get my other work done? I really want to watch this Korean drama. The last episode was a real cliffhanger. And the episode just came out on YouTube or on the internet, right? But I've got this sermon to prepare for tomorrow. Or I have this class homework I'm supposed to do. Or who knows, you know the experience. Maybe Korean dramas isn't your thing, but you know what I'm talking about. We always want to eat the cake really quickly, right? It's like eating the cake before we eat our meal. Eat the dessert first. No, let's use self-discipline and self-control to delay giving ourselves what we want, and then we can actually reward ourselves by, I feel I accomplished something, so now I can enjoy my accomplishment. Self-discipline is an important skill that we hone throughout our life, being able to discipline and use self-control throughout our life. So, our first purpose is to become a person of true love. All these things are connecting with God, developing a daily spiritual practice and discipline, and self-control, practicing my own self-control and self-discipline. So what was the second great purpose? Multiply, that's right. So you should be studying math, right? No. Loving relationships. Multiply has to do with our relationship with the people around us. The first starting point, of course, is with our family. Our relationships with our family, and developing, how am I doing in my relationships with my mom, my dad, my children, my brothers, my sisters, the people around me. But also that extends to not just our physical family, but also our spiritual family, like our church community. And even beyond that, it expands to our neighbors and friends and the people that we have in our lives. How are we doing in our relationships? Are we people who are loving, in our relationships, in our interaction with other people? It's useful for us to reflect and check on myself. How am I in my relationships with the people in my life? And also, in the broader picture, our mission is to be a good influence and example to the people around us, to people in our lives. Oftentimes we are influenced by other people. Sometimes we make mistakes by trying, I want to fit in, I want to be like everybody else. But actually God needs us to be good examples, encouraging and helping others to be able to know God, to experience God's love, and to grow. And the church term for that is witnessing. But it's not just witnessing, I'm trying to get somebody to do what I want. It's I care about people, I care about my friends, and I want them to grow in their experience of God, and especially if they can come to know true parents. So that's multiplied, loving relationships. And what was the third one? Dominion. Dominate, right? Dominatrix, right? No, those are the bad guys. Dominion means basically having stewardship, being loving caretakers over all the things in creation, being people who take care of creation. So the first place is for us to develop our gifts, talents, and ministries. This is where we are going to be impacting the world around us. So first we need to invest and understand, what are my gifts? What are the special gifts and unique talents that God has given me? And what ministry might God be calling me to do? And how can I apply that to the world around me, the people I'm relating with? Developing. So sometimes we need to look and see, well, what are my gifts? Am I investing in them? You know, maybe I have a talent for music. Am I investing time and energy to hone that skill, to perfect it? Maybe I'm good at writing. Maybe I'm good at speaking. Am I taking advantage of opportunities to stand up and make presentations? Maybe I'm good at computers. Am I helping anyone with their computer problems? No? Anybody volunteering? I could use a little help. I got some internet problems on my computer home. Anyway, looking for volunteers. All of us have different gifts and talents and abilities. And we're going to find the greatest joy by sharing that, by using that to make a positive difference in the environment and the world around us. So, are we using those gifts to be loving rulers over the creation, loving stewards, caretakers, and we're taking care of our material things like the house, the house clean? Oh, don't come check ours. How about your room? How about your bed? Did you make your bed this morning? How about the animals and pets in our life? Are we taking care of the natural world around us? All those things. This is where we can check ourselves and even set goals for ourselves. These three great purposes outline the whole broad range of experience that we have in our daily life and in our life on earth. And finally, in talking about dominion, we have to have mastery over the material things, material foundation. That includes finances. Are we being responsible stewards and taking care of our finances? We spent the whole 6 weeks last year talking about the financial fitness, right? And health and finances. And the fundamentals to that are basically we need to be saving money, we need to be tithing, acknowledging God in what we do, and being conscientious, having a budget, being conscientious owners and responsible about our finances. So these three great purposes, to become a person of true love, to have loving relationships, and loving stewardship over the things of the creation, that outlines our whole lives. So at the beginning of the year, I always like to start with this, because this is the picture for everything. This is a picture for our life. So if we check and look at ourselves and see, how am I doing in all of these great purposes in my life? To see. Because this comes from the book of Matthew, Jesus. The reason for all that, the reason we want to focus on these kinds of goals and these purposes, is because, as Jesus says, you are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. We have power to make a huge difference in the world around us. God has given us amazing, amazing gifts and abilities. We need to cultivate them. So finally, just when we think about our lives, we need to set goals, right? Probably you already have, but if you haven't, here's some quick tips for accomplishing goals. Number one, write them down. Get it down on paper. Make them specific. Not, I am going to be smarter this year. Well, that's a good goal, but it needs to be specific, measurable. I'm going to get an A in my test. I am going to think before I leap. I'm going to make some specific decisions. 3, if we make huge goals, sometimes it's like, oh yeah, that's my goal way out there. We need to make short steps, and we need to think in terms of steps. So we need to take our first step, right? You know the story. How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time, right? So how are we going to take on these big challenges in our life? One small step at a time. But make them regularly. You know, don't, I haven't done anything in the last month. No, build momentum by making small steps to move continually forward. And we need to think about our goals, reflect on them. It's good to have them written down, but put someplace and read them and think about them on a regular basis. And finally, it's helpful to be accountable. You know, make a promise to someone. You know, if you have someone else who's also supporting you in accomplishing your goal, then it's much easier to actually succeed and to accomplish it. There's lots of tips, lots of ideas about goal setting. So it's an important skill for us to develop and to manage in our lives. But I want to close with this quote from Father Moon. Father Moon says, "Human thought is a wonderful thing. With one thought, you can think of the same thing in an evil way and be headed to hell. Or, with another thought, you can think of it in another way around, and you are positive in your thinking. You are all glad, and with that happiness, you are entitled to heaven. Every moment you must be thinking of how to swallow the bad things and digest them. Your way of thinking will decide whether you are heaven-bound or hell-bound." So I have that quote on the back of your sheet here. So I encourage you, this year, let's set some healthy goals, check our spiritual life, the spiritual checklist, and move forward. Please join me in prayer. Good morning, Father, Mother, God, our loving Heavenly Parent. Thank you for the many blessings that we have and the chance we have to participate in your providence of restoration. We know you have so much hope for the healing of this world, and with true parents, an amazing barrier that has kept us down throughout all of human history was finally broken through. True parents laid the foundation, and now true Father in the spiritual world, true Mother in the physical world, we're looking to make that breakthrough real and substantial. Heavenly Parent, thank you so much for the way you're working in our lives, and we pray for your continuous inspiration and vision so we can catch your heart and your motivation to bring about change and healing in our own lives, in the lives of the people around us, starting with our own family, and also that we can make a change in the environment around it, that we can be positive influences, positive factors in this world. Heavenly Parent, thank you so much for your continuous love, and we look forward to this new year of 2015 with breaking through at all kinds of different levels, from the personal, the family, and the social level, Heavenly Parent, to be a world filled with your joy and your happiness. So, as your sons and daughters, and as blessed saints or families, we commit ourselves and we offer up this prayer to you. Amen and adieu. Okay, thank you, everyone. Please turn to your neighbor and share about goals for this next year. God bless.